Hi, I'm Iris Acker, and we're on stage. We're on Broadway's stage today because I have brought you a Broadway star, a motion picture star. Motion picture, they don't say that anymore. Film star, Mr. Gary Beach, the producers. I love this heading over here from, what did it say? Wait, I just lost it. From candelabra to Hitler.
Oh, yes.
Yes, from that gorgeous gown to Heil.
Heil myself, right.
Heil yourself. What an experience.
It was an incredible experience that I'll never forget. The whole producers thing.
Of course, of course.
Who knew?
Who knew? It's a wonderful story, Gary, leading up to it, because you had hurt your ankle doing a film, doing something in California.
Well, no.
No, wrong. Erase that. Erase that. Yeah.
Actually, I did fall off the top of the dishes.
Oh, yes.
In Be Our Guest one. And yeah, the dishes in Beauty and the Beast are stacked like this. And
yes.
I was Lumiere standing on the top of the dishes, and all of a sudden, the next thing I knew, I was on the stage floor and out of the show for 6 weeks with an avulsion fracture, whatever that is. Yeah.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, it was.
He got a Tony nomination for that as well, of course, rightly so. But so that was on Broadway. That was in New York originally.
Right.
Is that? Did you fall off in New York?
Yes, I fell in New York.
Okay.
But I ended up doing the show. I lived in LA at the time, and so the deal was that you know, if the show's a hit on Broadway, I know it's Disney. They were going to take it to LA and just run it as long as they could. I said, "Can I go?" Absolutely. And so I got to do it at home too for a year and a half in Los Angeles.
Which you enjoyed.
Oh, I loved it. It was beautiful. It's still a beautiful show. In many ways, I think it's their best. I love the story, and I think Alan Menken's music is unbeatable.
I'll agree with that. But just briefly, let me tell my audience a few of your credits, in addition to the producers, which is La Cage, the revival of La Cage.
Yes.
And I was just talking the other week to Andrew Cato from the Jupiter Theatre, of course, that had the most marvelous production of La Cage, and we met there. It was just a coincidence.
It was a thrill. I had not seen the show since I had done it, and a good buddy of mine was playing Zaza, John Shearer.
Isn't that wonderful?
You know, it's always fun to go see your friends do something, but it's really fun when they're as good as he was. Yeah, so it's easy to go backstage and pass around the compliments.
You know, I'm just going to put this in because I go back, way back with you, because a mutual friend of ours, Miriam Fond, the director, was doing a show called "What's a Nice Country Doing It." What's a nice country doing in a state like this?
What's a nice country doing in a state like you doing in a state like this?
Well, off-Broadway show. Yeah. That's before you were Gary Beach. You know, there's certain things you explain. Well, you know, well, before he was Gary Beach, he did, you know, and another friend of mine, Mildred Caden, this is going back a lot of years. I mentioned I was having Gary, and she said, oh, he was in one of my shows with Michael Douglas. I said, which Michael Douglas? She said, you know, the Michael Douglas, while he was still a hippie. He sang, he had long hair, she said.
We were all hippies.
Well, why not? It was the era. You had to be. It was
had to be a hippie.
I mean, there's so much to becoming finally what you are today.
It's a journey, isn't it? And I think the wise person realizes that there's no destination. It's a journey, you know. And so each little step of the way, you know, is an exciting stop.
Well, the most recent thing for us in Florida was to see you in Spamalot.
Yeah, it was
King
fun.
Arthur. Wonderful show. I can't see it enough.
I've never heard audiences laugh like that. And I did the producers just before doing Spamalot. It's just one of those shows, the audience just eats it up with a spoon.
You know, I don't know why I'm doing it this way. I should do it this way and show a few photos.
That'd be fun.
Let's start with the producers. This is the film, and we are looking at, got the wrong finger. Here you are here.
And then next to me, Roger Bart, who's out touring right now in Young Frankenstein.
Oh, my.
Which he played on Broadway. And then, of course, Nathan Lane, who I saw. I was just in New York, and I was sitting at Bar Centrale, which is upstairs from Joe Allen's. And in comes Nathan and Matthew.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And Nathan has this funny little mustache now. He's doing Gomez in the Addams Family. He tells me it's good. I hope it is.
Here again, without mentioning, if the camera can get it, Mr. Robert Goulet.
Yes. That's us. That's me on the right there with the feather in my hair.
I love it.
It's La Cage aux Folles. But
Yes.
this particular picture was the Tony Awards presentation.
At the Tony Awards, you were
Yes,
doing the number
that
from La
we did
Cage.
a number from the show.
And it won Best Revival.
It won Best Revival.
Of course.
And yes, and Best Choreography. Jerry Mitchell did the most incredible choreography for that show.
Really,
It
really,
was
really.
incredible.
Look at this.
But
what we
one of the
have.
great thrills of
Yes,
that whole
yes, yes.
experience was working with Robert Goulet.
Oh, isn't he a one? I've interviewed him a couple of times.
I was lucky enough to visit him just prior to his illness. And so had some time out in Vegas with Robert and Vera and their 55 cats. And it was just remarkable. He was a great man, terrific in the show. When they were doing they call it a put-in, when he replaced a guy.
Yes.
And they came in and, I worked with him a little bit, but we're doing the Song on the Sand, or he's singing Song on the
Yes,
Sand.
that's so
and I'm sitting there in the chair listening, and he goes, and so when he was through with it, I just looked at him and I said, has anyone ever told you you sound just like Robert Goulet? And he, of course, just loved that.
The audience must have fallen apart.
No, this is in rehearsal. I didn't do that in front of the audience.
I would
right.
say, yeah, well, in a theater you could get away with that, not on Broadway.
No, we didn't do that.
And Master of the House, here you are.
That was Thénardier, and in the revival.
Of Les Mis.
Yes, which was just a couple of years ago. I had done the role originally about 25, 26 years ago in Los Angeles at the Shubert Theater there, and for about a year and a half. And so they were going to revive it, and my agent called and said, Tara Rubin, who's a big casting director in New York, says, wants to know if you'd like to be part of the most popular musical in the world. And I said, is there something for me in Mamma Mia? And she said, no. Cameron McIntosh wants to bring, and he's coming to New York and wants to know if you mind meeting him in his office.
Oh my.
And I said to my agent, he just wants to see if I can still walk. I know why he wants me to do it. And so we talked, and of course I did it. I ended up doing it.
How long ago was that?
Just a couple of years.
Yeah, it was very recent.
Yeah, just before I did Spamalot.
Yeah. That's such a fun role.
Oh,
and you get to wear all these crazy costumes.
Yeah.
Oh, here, of course.
That's Lumiere.
Here's Lumiere, the candelabra.
Yes, exactly. With the incredible Anne Holdward costumes. Yeah, that was Disney's first foray into Broadway. And they've done pretty well, And this, little did we know, the show ran about 14 years on Broadway. And could probably still be running, actually.
A friend of mine just closed in it.
Really?
Ed Dixon.
I know Ed very well.
Of course you would.
Yes,
Why wouldn't you know
yeah.
Ed, my darling? Ed, he just...
he played the clock, Cogsworth.
That's right, he plays the clock. And he has a funny story to tell about it where they brought him on too soon. I'm trying to remember the story. And he says, and there he was, having absolutely nothing to do with the scene. And there was this clock, this big clock, standing there.
I learned very early on in that run that I had to have someone with me backstage at all times because you have no hands. There's no water fountain. You can't open a doorknob. There's nothing you could do. So I had this really great guy, Franklin Hollenbeck, that would follow me around the Palace Theater. It was treated like royalty, opening doors, and here's your water.
Funny. It might as well have been your understudy.
Exactly.
I remember they call it shadowing.
Yes.
Before you're going to do a role, they might as well have had that person. At least they really would have been in the right place at the right time.